Good morning, my faithful viewers. My name is Joe, and I'm a weapon of mass instruction. And for a couple nights now, I've been attempting to film an episode whereby I talk about Agenda 21. And it always turned out to be 30 minutes long. So, real quick word about Agenda 21. It's some really fucked up shit couched inside of, like, Go Green. Alright, that's pretty much what it comes down to. Look it up on Wikipedia. You'll find some pretty fucked up shit right in there, like change population. That's the big thing for me. But anyway, I erased all that shit on my whiteboard because of all this stuff that's going on now. I'm sure everybody's heard about it, but here's my new take on this shit, I think. There's a lot of stuff on this whiteboard. So we've all heard about the NATO summit in Chicago on May 20th, which happens to be when the solar eclipse is, as well as right about when the Spetsnaz troops are supposed to arrive in Fort Carson, Colorado. It also happens to be, the NATO summit happens to be within the 60606 zip code. And I'm not sure exactly where the boundaries are between 60606 and 60616. However, comma pause for effect, in some interpretations of the Bible, 616 is the number of the beast. So, that's that. Either of those, is going to be a pretty fucked up place to have the freaking NATO summit, alright? It's pretty much what it comes down to. So let's see what we got. This is my crazy maniac fucking whiteboard shit. So I started off with Chicago, where the NATO summits are. NATO summit is on 5/20, along with the solar eclipse, along with the Spetsnaz troops. Those are the three main things I've been hearing about. Three main things that are scaring the shit out of me. Alright, let's see. The solar eclipse is connected to Los Angeles. The reason why is because the fact of the solar eclipse reminded me of like Luciferian or satanic rituals, or like being an omen. So that could be it, along with the 60606 number or 60616, whichever it happens to be. And it doesn't really matter which is the true number of the beast. Like, the fact of the matter is they're both right there. Alright, they're both right there where the NATO summit is happening. So I was thinking about that. I was thinking about the solar eclipse and how Luciferians or Satanists or whoever likes to do freaking rituals during that time. And it made me think of the Mayan ceremony in Los Angeles, which took place, I believe, 2011, which was supposed to open up the last little area of time leading up to the end of the age, according to the Mayans. I'm not exactly sure how that works out, but that also plays into if you guys have seen Smoke and Joe Trainer's episodes where he visited Crystal Bridges. All right, that opened up the same day, which we can be fairly sure was funded by the elite, for the elite, because it looks like a fucking fortress. Let's be honest about that. All right, so I was thinking about the solar eclipse Mayan ceremony sort of thing, and I realized, well, it's not going to be a full solar eclipse in Chicago, unless it happens to be they were looking for a crescent moon looking eclipse. All right, I've seen that symbol a lot lately, and I honestly can't remember where exactly I've seen the crescent symbol, but it might not be a crescent moon, but it's simply the sun being covered on a crescent by the moon as part of the eclipse. Or what I also thought about was the Bohemian Grove in California, which we can also feel safe to assume is connected to the ruling elite as well, which I believe that falls within the annular zone of the eclipse. Now, I'm not sure when the Bohemian Grove fucking fag club decides to meet every year. Sorry, I'm not anti-gay. There's a difference between a gay person and a fag. And I think you guys know what the difference is. Alright? But they might actually have something going on that this next Sunday. I'm not sure. I don't know if they publicize when it's supposed to be each year. I don't know. So going back to this, I was thinking about all this stuff, and the Spetsnaz troops landing in Colorado, Fort Carson, along with other bases to follow. It reminded me of the Salt Lake City, which I believe is in Colorado as well. Salt Lake City? No, Utah. But Denver is Colorado. That's right. Sorry, my brain goes all the fuck over the place. All right, so Colorado, Fort Carson. I believe Denver is there too. If we remember images of the Denver International Airport, there's that guy who made that sculpture of a black horse with red eyes, or the third horse of the apocalypse. And this is another shout out to Smoking Joe Trainer. He was talking about the Spetsnaz troops issuing forth and being the embodiment of the Red Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Now, you already know my take on it. I'm not a Christian anymore, but I do think that there is some truth in the Book of Revelation, either as the Illuminati planting this false flag or simply trying to copycat it in order to freak people out, whatever it happens to be. So the black horse is the third horseman of the apocalypse, which symbolizes famine or collapse, or economic collapse. So that's a pretty scary thought too, because of course what's going to happen if fucking martial law breaks out? The economy's going to collapse. Like that. People might keep doing their job, but they're going to see their dollar being worth less and less and less as faith in the United States falls and falls and falls. So that is actually another connection right there. And I don't know how tight that is. However, Denver International and Ordos, China, you know that really freaking weird planned city in Ordos, China that has like the fucking solar eclipse in it? Yeah, it's got a solar eclipse monument in Ordos, China. And then there's also a black horse pedestal, exactly like the one in Denver. So that connection right there sounded crazy to me even at first, but now that I remember that it's got that fucking solar eclipse fucking monument there, that's another sign of shit going down on the 20th. And we gotta be ready. Just like Joe Trainer said, just like DDUHTV, just like everybody's been saying. A lot of us have been saying, a lot of the shit I've been hearing is about the Olympics, but that could be following up. What's the fourth horseman of the apocalypse? The pale horse, or death. Alright, so let's say they've got this this whole false flag operation in Chicago. If it involves a nuke or a dirty bomb like people have been hearing about, which would totally play into the 30 mile radius of the army units already being staged there, as well as it would also factor into the fact that EMTs and other units, like I reported the other time, have been getting radiation training. All right, I'm sorry I don't have links for any of this, but I know that it's out there. I've seen it, and you all can fucking look it up for yourselves. So that points to a freaking nuclear device being detonated in Chicago, and I voiced this today on a couple of channels about how, now that I think about it, I remember I was playing fucking Homefront not too long ago. If anybody's ever played that game, Homefront is all about the United States being invaded by Korea, North Korea, which is very similar to China. Not a lot of Americans are going to make too much of a difference between North Koreans and Chinese. You know, to some of us, they might all be exactly the same. Now, I know the difference. Personally, I've never seen, no offense to Koreans, but I've never seen a Korean who I could, say, yeah, he's a pretty normal person. But then again, I'm no judge. I'm not a fucking normal person myself. But anyway, we got China buying land by the thousands of acres, buying our water. That's an invasion right there. Technically no, because they're buying the land legally. But come on, really? So back to Homefront real quick. At one point in the game, I remember you can pick up these little newspaper articles that have to do with the whole war, the whole invasion. And one of them actually mentions martial law in Chicago. And bingo, There you go. That's, as far as I can remember, that's the only city that martial law is mentioned. And then the rest of it is all about the North Koreans invading. But then, of course, you got the Russians. They're not invading. They're being invited in. But for us, we the people, there's no practical difference. It doesn't fucking matter. If they attack, they attack. You know, if they fucking start confiscating guns, that's an attack. If they assist the United States troops in martial law, I think that's a fucking attack on my freedom and rights and liberties. Anyway, I'm starting to get heated up again. Another thing that you hear mentioned in Homefront is the Mississippi River being irradiated as a method for the North Koreans to divide the country, divide and conquer, which is what the elite have been doing to us this whole time. You got Jews and Christians hating each other, Christians and freaking Muslims hating each other, Muslims and Jews hating each other. Like the three fucking brother religions or belief systems all fucking hate each other, but they've got the most similarities out of any fucking world religions out there. You know, just like the Greeks, Romans, and the fucking Norse mythologies, you know, all stemming from the ancient Egyptian mythologies, which stemmed from the fucking Babylonian mythologies, like all that shit. You know, but they all fucking hated each other, and a lot of it probably had to do with religious beliefs. Anyway, okay, went off on a tangent. Divide and conquer, right. Mississippi River irradiated. If you guys take a look on Google Earth, and I can't pull that up because Google Earth is on my phone and I'm doing this video on my phone, you'll actually, you know, go to the mouth of the Mississippi River, the fucking delta, down in Louisiana, and just trace it up north. And of course, the main section branches off to the west, but you also have a section that comes up right in the middle of fucking Chicago. And it's pretty much, it goes right up in the middle of fucking Chicago. There's the Great Lake, okay? And right next to that, this is right in the middle of the 606 area code. Right next to that, you got that fucking diamond-shaped fountain thingy, and right there is pretty much where the goddamn NATO summit is going to be. So if a dirty bomb gets blown up at the NATO summit, it's going to go right into that fucking tributary that goes into the Mississippi River and feeds all the way down to the Delta. A lot of that fallout is probably going to get into the water and follow down there. And now everybody probably thinks I'm being a fearmonger. But, like, this is just, like, all this shit just finally connected and started to make my mind just blow up. So I had to fucking talk about it. And it's, like, it's pissing me off. It really is. Like, YouTube is my outlet. This is my way to stay sane. Like, my ex keeps bitching because she thinks I'm getting way out there. Well, I would be way the fuck out there, except I'm putting these videos out there. And that keeps me kind of sane. I'm okay. I'm okay. The voices in my head say so. But that's pretty much what I got. A lot of these crazy connections here, but they really do make sense in a way. Because we already see that the elite and the Illuminati are all about their symbology. Their symbolism. Their symbolism. 666, the 606, fucking solar eclipse, whether it's going to give us that crescent image, and I can't remember for the life of me where I saw that crescent. It didn't have to do with the Illuminati at all. I think I know where I saw it. This is going to look so retardedly weird to you guys now. Where is it? Be right back. Yeah. I got a book by James Rollins called The Devil Colony. And it shows an image, and I don't know how real this is or how fictional this is. An image of the Freemason symbol, however, comma, pause for effect, where the G for whatever normally would be. Instead, they have a crescent moon and a star. And I know that there's a lot of truth What was it that was said in the Matrix? I see some truth in your fiction and some fiction in your truth. It's all about this predictive programming, and this might be a little bit more of it. There we go. Nice big image. Freemason symbol with a crescent moon and a star. I don't know if I did a video on this, but apparently the Ayatollah Khomeini of Iran just recently spoke at a convention about the Arab Spring movement, calling all Arabs to band together in a single alliance or coalition, claiming that he had Muhammad al-Mahdi in his possession, I guess you could say, being groomed for the role of the second coming. And when the time was right, he would unveil him. He also claimed that he will attack the United States, the great Satan America, the white devil, and this attack would kill 2/3 of us. So we're looking at a possible false flag nuclear explosion in Chicago. But less than a month before the NATO summit, the Ayatollah of Iran, who absolutely fucking hates our ass, is talking about this shit, killing 2/3 of the population, and the NATO summit coincides with this possible eclipse where we may see what looks like a crescent, which actually I was trying to stay away from the whole Muslim connection. But everybody already knows that crescent is associated with Muslims and Islam, and it might be just one more symbolic connection to this shit. Well, he says that he's going to attack, but if a nuke goes off in Chicago, you know what? We already know who's to blame. I don't care what the fucking mass fucking media says. They lied about 9/11. They were in on that too. It was the fucking leaders of the United States who did it, or who allowed it to happen at the very least. But I don't buy that. Just judging from the flight paths of these jumbo jets that these guys didn't know how to fucking fly, just from seeing the explosions in the towers as they fell, including tower number 7, which wasn't even close to the blast. You know, all that shit. And the same sort of shit is pointing to May 20th and the Olympics. And I think Iran is going to be blamed for that. I'm pretty fucking sure of it. And let me reaffirm something. If you guys want to take a look in my favorites, I believe, and in my NWO playlist, there's a video by... God, I can't remember this guy's name. Italian immigrant who lives in Arizona, who apparently his computer was attempted. He had an attempted hack on his computer repeatedly by the Department of Defense server. So he basically did the same thing that I'm about to do. He basically, you know, he sent a letter to his state attorney general, his local sheriff, and one other person I can't remember, his lawyer. But you know what? And he also made that video on YouTube. But I'm going to just do the YouTube video thing. Alright. I don't know if anybody out there has already said this, but I personally think that something's going to happen in Chicago. It might not be a nuke. It might be something else. But I think probably a nuke. Simply because the whole world has been holding their breath waiting to see if Iran develops nuclear capabilities. And with the fucking Ayatollah talking like that, they probably just did. And he's probably planning on using it against us. But I think whatever happens in Chicago is not going to be him. And let me just put this out there. Alright? I'm going to keep on making videos every day, every other day. I know I've got people on my subscribers list. Alright? Thanks, bro. And everybody else who's been watching my videos. And I appreciate that. And I know my viewership isn't high, but that's fine by me. But I want every one of you guys to know who are watching my videos, I'm going to keep on putting this stuff out there, and I'm going to do my best to put something out every day, if not every other day, at the very least every third day. But you'll also be able to see my comments and all that stuff because I'm always on here. If all of a sudden I'm not on here, and I said this before, if all of a sudden one day you don't see anything in the morning or at night before or after work or anything like that, that tells you right away that I'm gone. And you can be pretty sure of where I get taken to at that point. Alright, one of two places. Neither of which one of us is a fan of. But I'd rather take the other one, if given the choice. It's all about choice, and I know what my choice is, and I'm standing for freedom. Whatever happens. So we got all these connections: Mississippi, fucking Fort Carson, fucking Denver International, Satan Airport, fucking Ordos, China, Black Horsemen of famine, economic collapse, leading up to death. It's not the end of the world, just the end of the world as we know it. There's two ways this can go. Either the people at the top of the pyramid get their way, and 95% of the world is living as a slave, or they're going to fuck up royally, and I think they have. They're going to fuck up royally, and we'll win the day. And we might just learn from all of our mistakes. We, as the collective human race, I know not this generation, but we played into it. We got suckered in, just like everybody else did. So we're going to have to pay the piper too. But it's okay. You know, I always like ending these things on a positive note. If the end of the world doesn't come along tomorrow morning, then tomorrow night I'm going to go on a date. First time in a long while, and I'm pretty stoked about that. That's fucking awesome. Yeah. Been chasing girls around and it never went anywhere. And this one found me. And that's pretty cool. I feel really good about that. There's always something good going on if you stop to look for it. Just remember that. No matter how grim everything else looks. I'm not even going to take a picture of this. I haven't even uploaded any of my pictures that I took of my whiteboard stuff. I'm not even going to take a picture of this. Alright, you guys, you already have all the connections right there. Some more ideas on what could happen. Alright, but it's going bye-bye. That crazy train has now been officially derailed. I'm going to go to sleep. Let me know what you guys think. If you have anything else to add, you know, if you think it's going to go a completely different direction. But all these people that talk about it, Smokin' Joe Trainer, DDUHTV, wrote W, I don't remember your name, cool old guy who, according to him, collects data like Monk and puts it out there as correlated evidence. And I like that. I got a kick out of watching his report just now. I can't remember his name, but he's on my subscriptions list, so if you guys can look at that, you'll find him. You know, they've all been saying this stuff, and it all matches, and it's not just all these people parroting the same stuff over and over. They all have different sources, and then you got people like me who are, and this other guy who are taking the sources, and we're putting stuff together. We're trying to come up with new ideas as to where it might go, what might be causing it, all that stuff. Or trying to, at least, because in the end none of us really knows. But do your research, look for stuff, and if my message reaches one person out there who hasn't already woken up, I'll be happy. Because if each of us wakes up one person, and in turn that person wakes up one more person, it's going to be an unstoppable chain. It really will be. So for everybody who's feeling a little messed up because people aren't listening to your message, don't be despondent about it. I turn it into a joke when I talk to normal people nowadays. The sheep. Just today at the range, like 3 people came in to shoot their guns, and within 2 minutes of them setting up and getting ready to shoot, I said something that I would normally say, but I worded it as a joke, and I honestly can't remember exactly what I said. But all 3 times they laughed about it, but it was kind of a nervous laugh. And people are starting to wake up. And if you can just plant that seed of an idea there, that there's a truth out there that people aren't looking at, that might be enough. That might be enough. But I'm going to keep on working on this. I'm going to keep on preparing as best I can. I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing best. I'm going to keep teaching people how to shoot. Because the more civilians know how to shoot, the better off we might be in the long run. Even the fucking hood boogers who come in, and I know they're about to go back to their ghetto and fucking start another gang war. If they can hit their fellow gang members instead of the little girl who happened to get caught in the crossfire, that'll make me happy. If they end up not hitting that little girl or that innocent bystander, whoever it happens to be. Keep on practicing. Keep on fighting. Keep on resisting. Keep on believing that we can win this. That's all I got for you tonight. And it turned out to be way more than I expected to say. I'm sorry. Y'all stay safe.